So in today's video, we are going to be creating a new series. So basically, what I do on my shorts, sometimes I just give in some countries empires, make them stronger. So yeah, today, but now some of them are gonna be transforming into long form videos where I can voice over them and talk about it. So yeah, in today's video, China is going to be making a new empire. So let's hop right into it. So immediately they are going to be attacking Mongolia to try and get more space for their population. And they only have 3 million people and China has 1.4 billion. So you can think how this goes. They immediately take most of the west and most of the east. And also most of the south, which I think most of the Mongolians live. So kind of getting boxed. Then Russia helps out and kind of third parties in it. Put them like that. So yeah, Russia kind of third parties and like takes some of the north parts of it. Connected. Yep. So they basically take the north and Chinese takes the rest. So now we're going to take a treaty. We're going to look at a treaty out of this. So, yeah. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, Russia took most of the north of Mongolia, and China took most of the south, with China getting the majority since they did start the war and did occupy most of it. So it only made sense. So now they are going to be attacking little Hong Kong, and they mostly are puppet to China already. So you can already see how this goes. Swoop in from the north and immediately take them. Basically, that's the treaty. They just get annexed. Duh. What do you think was going to happen? Okay, anyway, next. Plot point of craziest moment of the year. China, finally, to prove that they're the real China, attacks Taiwan. Little Taiwan over here. Okay, so since most of Taiwan lives in the east, I think, there might be forests in the west, I think. This is all our speculation, and do not use this video as like a guide or anything. Anyways, so yeah, China pretty easily takes the pretty big chunk of the west. Let me just put it on scale. But since Taiwan has been preparing for this with US help, they just push them back a bit. But since the US is all the way over from the other side of the world, and China is literally only like a couple 100 miles away from this island, they absolutely get smashed. So yeah, and the tree is just getting annexed. What are you expecting? So now they aren't really sure where to go because there's a lot of options. They could attack Russia if they wanted to be crazy, Central Asia, India, and Southeast Asia. So they have a lot of options, but I think they would attack Korea because they can. So with the help of North Korea, they are going to be attacking South Korea. I'll just put North Korea in like a dark, colourful red, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so basically, North Korean troops been waiting decades for this. They storm through the north of South Korea, but since like South Korea is a lot stronger, they easily push them back. Since South Korea and China are not connected, it will take a while for them to get there because they would have to go like there. Anyways, and they do have a really good navy, so they could hold them out for a bit. So South Korea completely pushes them out, but since, China and North Korea are very close. China helps North Korea a hell of a lot, and also, you know, they're in the war as well. So yeah, they push like 2 millimeters out of their border, and then immediately get pushed right back until the thing that they basically were at a minute ago. So now the US has been allowed for like a couple months, so they've been waiting for an invasion of something like this. So they've actually been holding out in Japan this entire time, and Japan's not gonna join the war because they don't want to, because they don't see real point. So US troops are landing in South Korea and helping out South Korea, like get Chinese and North Korean troops out of their territory. So yeah, they push them back, and this is looking like North Korea. This is looking like the Korea War 2.0. But China has updated themselves since, and now is very good at cyber attacking and has improved their navy a lot. So since the US only put a couple 100,000 troops in Japan, and China's right next to South Korea and doesn't have to send wait, let me just turn my brightness up for you guys. Doesn't have to take a while to send more troops. In the long term, China will win this war, and North Korea, I guess. So doing that, but for now, South Korea and American troops push into, I'll just get it like that, push into north of North Korea. Okay, I'm just saying NK for North Korea and SK for South Korea, but it's getting a bit repetitive. So SK troops start pushing into NK and take most of the south. But now, since it's been like probably a year maybe. It's up to you how long this lasts. Russia is getting, the US is getting pretty hard keeping only a couple 100,000 troops there. So North Korea, after a while, China sends about 1 million troops, one of the largest groups in history, into North Korea and pushes them out and starts attacking South Korea from the north again. Trust me, this will be the last time. And actually capture all of the US troops. So SK, which I kind of forgot to use last time, is now alone. And they start getting absolutely pushed through. Start a little thing, I forgot what it's called. And they split the country in two. Hey, this reminds me of something. And now the troops kind of look like a tornado. And they're kind of rampaging through South Korea. They take the west, and I'm pretty sure their capital is Seoul, which is in the southeast. I think. I don't really know. But just like in the real Korea War, they push them back into the corner of their little country. But in our normal timeline, in the 1950s, US troops and UN troops were there to help, but now there isn't any. So South Korea, all of their territories lost, and North Korea now can be the final Korea. But you may be thinking, why does China want to attack South Korea so much and give North Korea them? Well, my dear viewers, it's actually betrayal, because they now are going to be attacking North Korea. I'm just going to say Korea because they are basically just the one real Korea. So yeah, China now is betraying Korea and attacking them. So with millions of troops, North Korea can just not hold on for long, and most of old North Korea is taken. But luckily, since North Korea has taken most of South Korea's military and weapons, they can push back like only a little bit, because like it's China you're facing, mate. So they push back a little part, but after that they immediately push back and take all of that back. So that was kind of a waste of time. Now they push all the way back to the South Korean border. And so now they have taken all of North Korea, and now Japan, since like they're like, why not? They actually attack South Korea because land, I guess. I'm just filming with purple, I guess. Probably one of the biggest betrayals of all time, even though they were literally where it was holding up, like where the American troops were holding up. So they get attacked. So Japan captures Seoul, I think. That is where it is. I'm not entirely sure. And then starts rampaging through South Korea. Well, it's not really South Korea anymore because, you know, North Korea took that. But you get what I mean. It's basically in South Korea and London. So, yeah, the Chinese and Japan groups, even though if they hate each other, they're not, even with disagreements, they can sit down at our table and decide the borders of the Korean peninsula. Oh my god, that hurt my mouth. Don't know why. Let me just redo all this so we can make the borders. Could take until the 7th century, but it doesn't really matter. I'm actually gonna just, like, let's do that. Okay, now let's look at a peace treaty between these two fellows. Okay, so as you can see, China takes all of North Korea and north of South Korea, and Japan gets the rest of South Korea, because that's basically the occupied areas. So yeah. Now Japan has actually a border, which is crazy. I mean they already would have a one if they actually did have like that. You know, guys, like south of this island, you guys know what I'm on about, hopefully. And if you don't, go read a book. Okay, anyways, so now they are going to be attacking. Now they're going to be attacking. Wait, let me just get the blue out. They're going to be attacking the Central Asian countries, and just since they're China, they can just attack all of them at once. Because I'm not filming all that. Actually, yes, I am, because I'm not lazy that much. I'm not that lazy. Pretty sure that's just a lake there. Oh no, it's not. It's not a lake. No, man. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is not like a union or anything, because it'll probably fall about in like 2 seconds. It's just like who China's attacking. So yeah, this is basically they're basically attacking all the Stan countries except Pakistan, because they are their ally, and Afghanistan, because they're just crazy, and the only border with them is like this 2 centimeter thing here. Anyways, so now they're going to be attacking the Central Asia countries. So first of all, since they just like attacking this place a lot, they have lots of troops in this area, so they can easily push through east of the North Stan countries, which I'm just going to say, if it's not all the Stan countries. So they take a pretty large portion of east of Kazakhstan and east of, I don't remember this country, but yeah. And then they start a new, like, board outline, or whatever it is, I don't know. A new front in was it Tajikistan or something? I don't know. These countries have so hard names. Anyway, so yeah, that's happening. And they crawl up on here, like sneaking up behind the troops, which are like around here, most of them. So yeah, and they kind of trap them in, and they have to, like, the troops have to surrender to them. So yeah, without an army, they're kind of cooked. So yeah, so after that, they immediately fall, and since they have a lot of space now, I'm pretty sure this is part of it as well. They can now attack nearby, like the places nearby. Oh god! And they now have a new front in Tajikistan or something. I'm not even going to try and name it. And then that country surrenders, and before they get absolutely cooked, Turkmenistan just leaves the war. And yeah, and also Kazakhstan kind of has a civil war because someone wants to be a part of China, someone wants to stay neutral, someone wants to fight for their lives. So yeah, so the neutral people are just gonna chill in the west, where like the sea is, and the people who want to fight for their lives and like be a part of China are gonna be part of the rest of it. So yeah, some of Kazakhstan gets away, but not all. And something similar happens with Uzbekistan, where the north does the only a small portion of it, like, wants to be neutral, but since like the majority of the country wants to be at war, just gets absolutely ignored. So yeah, it can't really be neutral. But the people who did want to be neutral are now moving into Kazakhstan to like chill there. Anyways, back on the war. The Chinese have finally reached this river thing, and now are surrounding it from, let me refix that border, come from the bottom and surround the lake because they like water. Okay, and then they just get all that, and then Kazakhstan knows it's their due, but Kazakhstan would normally like fall, but since loads of the people want to keep fighting, they don't surrender to the Chinese. But they don't really have that big of an army, so they kind of get flattened. What am I doing like that? Then China reaches the chill part of Kazakhstan, and they just like say they won't invade you if you just make like an alliance with us, which they're like, sure, but secretly they're like, hell nah. And to escape the treaty, they just join with Russia. Look, I don't know why they did that. They wanted to be neutral and they joined Russia, one of the most non-neutral countries. I don't know. I don't know either. Just leave me alone. Anyways, so now, since China's kind of furious, so the North's just surrounded and surrenders. So does the South, because there's no hope. And you can already know what's going to happen here. They're going to get absolutely squashed. Now time to look at a treaty. Yeah. And there, boom. So as we can see, most of Kazakhstan went to China. Most of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan went to China, and all of Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan went to China as well. But these two countries these two stand countries that were there. Some of it got away and were annexed by Russia. which these guys just wanted to be neutral. Now they're with Russia, who is not neutral at all. So this is where the video is going to end. If you like this type of content and want me to do more type of these shorts and videos, just leave a comment and like and subscribe, so it helps my channel grow. Anyways guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.